Hey, what's going on guys? Raj here. Today I'm going to be doing a video which I'm going to call my fragrance football starting 11. So this is football or soccer depending on what part of the world you're from, and this is just an idea I had. I have no idea if it's going to work, if it's going to make any sense to you guys, but I'm just going to run with it and see how it goes. So this is me I'm going to tell you about a formation and different positions on the football pitch and what fragrances could play in those positions. I'm going to go with 4-4-2, so that means a goalkeeper, and then you've got 4 defenders, 4 midfielders and 2 strikers, and then which fragrances can go into those type of positions. So let's start off with the defence, the goalkeeper and the 4 defenders. So these are positions which need to be safe, reliable but strong fragrances at the same time. For my goalkeeper, I'm going to go with Creed's Green Irish Tweed. I think this is, Creed is a very safe house for me. This is very masculine fragrance, nice bit of bergamot, violet leaf with a nice ambergris dry down. Very popular fragrance and one that I really enjoy. I went for the big size here. Great bottle, fantastic presentation. Now coming into the right side of defence, the right back, I'm going to go with L'Occitane's Eau de Baux. Very good alternative to Tobacco Vanille, and also I think it's quite a good alternative to L'Artisan's Tea for Two, and for Victor and Rolf's Spice Bomb. Nice bit of cypress and a bit of incense, a bit of pepper, and yeah, a really good fragrance. I think the whole L'Occitane house is really good house. So this is my right back. On the left back, the left side of defence, I'm going to go with Fahrenheit, Dior's Fahrenheit Absolute. Amazing presentation. I love this bottle, the way it goes from sort of a really jet black to a sort of reddish, pinkish colour. And this is just a twist, a darker twist on the original Fahrenheit, bit of oud in there. I've got it on actually. Yeah, it's got that violet leaf and oud. It's a very unique designer fragrance, I would say. Left back position there. Now we're going to go into the centre of the defence, the 2 defenders in the centre of defence. Another one from Creed. This is Bois de Portugal. A lot of people say this is very popular with the older type of gentleman, and I would agree to an extent. It's definitely got that green punch in the face which you might get in a lot of 80s and 90s fragrances. Very strong, but still quite a safe option. You could wear this to work quite easily. Good fragrance here for the centre of defence. Another one is just a classic fragrance. Terre from Hermes. This is the EDP, I think. Yeah, this is the EDP. And great cap here. I love that design. Nice bit of vetiver in there. It's quite smoky and earthy. People say this is a touch synthetic, which I would agree with, but that's not a bad thing. Very reliable, very long-lasting fragrance as well. Do enjoy that. So that's the defensive side of the team. Now we're going to go into the midfield, and I'm going to start off with 2 wingers. So these are people like Gareth Bale, Theo Walcott, Cristiano Ronaldo, people who are playing down the left or right wing, and they are quick players. They have explosive pace. They have an eye for goal. They provide strikers with goals, and they don't necessarily always get the high praise, but they're still great fragrances to have. So on the left wing of midfield, left midfielder, I'm going to go with L'Eau d'Essai pour Homme from Issey Miyake. I mean, I'm not going to say anything on this fragrance because everything has already been said about it. This is just a classic fragrance, a very well done citrus, probably one of the best value citruses I think is out there. I really have not used this bottle at all. I really need to start using this. Sometimes that happens when you have a fairly large collection. Quite sporty fragrance. Sport is not a description I like to use that often, but I could see this being worn during sport and after the gym, after going swimming or doing whatever sport. Kind of fits in well there. On the right wing, this is the Theo Walcott position here. This is Maison Francaise Cajun APOM pour Homme. I would go as far as to say that this is the best orange blossom fragrance I've ever come across. So this is very so actually, if you like Sweet Redemptions from by Kilian, but you think it's too sweet and too bubblegummy and just a little bit too intense, and you also like Kobe from Gerjoff, but you don't want to spend that type of money. This is probably the best alternative, and I would go as far as to say as better than those two fragrances. Still quite a thick and sweet orange blossom absolute fragrance. I get in here, backed up with, I mean, wow, a little bit of spice in there, maybe a bit of amber. I'm not 100%. This is fairly new fragrance for me, so I'm not sort of 100% know what's going on in this fragrance, but a really great option, really great option. MFK is a house not to be ignored. Actually, it's a really good house. I've got Absolute Pour Le Soir from them also. Really enjoy that. So now we're going into the centre of midfield, and I'm going to go with sort of two defensive midfielders here. So we're talking about, you know, Patrick Vieira and Roy Keane and Michael Essien, these type of players who are quite strong, have a physical presence. They have the ability to defend and also have a creative side to them. They can drive forward and supply attackers with good passes, assists, and are really good fragrances to have, kind of the core of your team in many ways. I'm going to start off with a fragrance which I've bought a few months ago, Chanel Egoiste. I mean, this is really strong, you know, so different to any Chanel fragrance out there at the moment on their sort of mainstream line. Very, very strong sandalwood note in here, quite floral, bit of powdery, bit of cinnamon, sandalwood. Yeah, excellent fragrance. Much better than Platinum Egoiste, but not a safer option, a stronger option. Egoiste from Chanel there in the centre of midfield. Joining it there will be Check and Speaks, number 88. An intensely masculine floral, beautiful rose, quite spicy, and a bit of vetiver and a bit of wood in the dry down there. And this is probably the best from Check and Speak, absolutely worth checking out. This featured in my top 10 most intense and complex list, or that video. Absolutely worth, not for everyone, but worth checking out anyway. Definitely got to get your nose onto that. So now we're going into the strikers, and football is all about scoring goals. We're talking about Thierry Henry. I'm an Arsenal fan, by the way. I keep mentioning all these former Arsenal players. Henry, Van Persie, Podolski type of player here. Explosive, fast, skillful, takes all the praise, can be eccentric, a loose cannon, depending what player and what team. I'm going to start off with actually a fairly safe option, to be honest. This is probably one of my favourite fragrances. It has now turned into my signature scent, Dior Homme Sport. It's got the word sport in it, so it kind of seems appropriate right now. Probably one of the finest fragrances I've ever come across, the most well-balanced fragrance, certainly. And it is now my signature scent. You know, I have a fragrance rotation in my room, and then I have all these other fragrances in a different room, but this is now permanently in my rotation. Brilliant fragrance. One of the best from Dior's mainstream line. And now we get into the star of the show, the main striker, the Henry, the Ruud van Nistelrooy, Alan Shearer, you know, Didier Drogba type player. And this is, you've seen me mention it before, this is Amouage Interlude Man, the latest fragrance from Amouage, fragrance house which has come out of the Middle East, out of Oman. And it's definitely in that style, you know. I'm starting to dislike the opening a little bit, or not dislike, but like less the opening. I think it's a little bit too sweet for me, but the rest of the fragrance is explosive, and there's so much going on. Sweetness, smokiness, woodiness, fruity, tobacco. It's a crazy fragrance. And one more position actually, which is not a player, but it's the person who controls everyone, who is in charge of the team. It's the manager, and you know, Sir Alex Ferguson, Arsene Wenger, Pep Guardiola, Clive Christian, C for Men. Hands down the best fragrance I've ever come across so far, and this is the one which is just in charge of all of these guys. So there you go guys, my fragrance football starting 11. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye.